Hello, this is KC. Thank you so much for joining in. Today, instead of doing a video on my DIY expedition camper build that I'm doing, I'm going to be interviewing Josiah Roe, the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Lost Time. As I interviewed him in his Volkswagen Vanagon that he travels around the globe in, from the Overland Expo in Redmond, Oregon, just this July in 2022. It's really full of a lot of wonderful little nuggets. Do join in and enjoy the travels, adventures.
We're gonna start really simple. Josiah, tell me who you are. Tell me like your name, like what you stand for, what group you're with.
Yeah. My name is Josiah Roe. I've been on and off van lifing for about 6 years now. I work with a magazine called the Journal of Lost Time. We do deeper and more immersive travel storytelling, so it's about what it's like to really go and like be in a place and get a sense of its rhythms and heartbeat, and so we kind of nerd out on the ecology and biology, even like the economy of the places. And so sort of like a slower way to travel, and we want it to be the kind of thing that you pick up and read an article for 15 minutes as opposed to blitzing through TikTok or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, we're on there too, but yeah, that's kind of what I do. And I right now I just wanted to come to Overland Expo, see a bunch of friends, see several clients, meet some new ones, all that sort of fun stuff. And over here in the DIY section with a couple of folks that have already been friends for a while that I met out on the road, and then met some ones that I've kind of looked up to when I first got into this community. Some folks have been doing it for 20 years. The OGs in the overlanding and van life world, so that's been pretty cool to chat up them.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long you been more or less doing this?
About 6 years. I had gone to Maui and rented a Vanagon over Thanksgiving break once several years ago, and fell in love with it, and was going to stay for a week, but stayed for a month, just popping the top on beaches and meeting folks and having a great time. And then I had the bug, and then this is like pre-hashtag van life and all that stuff. And I like looked at a lot of the crazy overlanding rigs, but I knew I didn't want to do a rooftop tent, something like that. But I knew I didn't have the cash to go buy a badass Unimog or something like that. But I knew I wanted a Vanagon, and then this one, a green one, showed up on a website called the Samba, which is kind of for old Vanagon folks. And yeah, I dropped everything, drove out, bought it, and have been slowly turning it into a vehicle that I can hopefully drive around the world. It's always knock on wood when it comes to any vehicle, but especially a Vanagon. They're fun, but she's got a 1.8 key conversion in it, all sorts of fun suspensions and aftermarket goodies, and yeah, she rips.
And what do you love about not only the Vanagon as a platform, but your Vanagon?
Yeah, my Vanagon in particular, I mean, I love the color.
It's a rad color.
She's got lasers. She's got soundbox speakers mounted on her. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. Like, it's fun to be able to roll up to a get-together and be the party. There's some joy in that, like bring people together.
Yes,
especially
party has been central around your camp in the last couple of nights.
Oh, it's one of the reasons I love Mike. It's like we love to throw get-togethers. Yeah, and I mean, like, the van life can be a very solitary world, and I don't necessarily think that social media fully fills the need we have for other human beings, and so it's nice to have events like this, but also to have a vehicle that might draw people in a little bit. It's kind of fun.
And the color is part of that, but also it's a bit of a unique vehicle too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. People always start smiling, or they're like curious, and yeah, that's kind of fun. Like, I like that.
Right. It's got a lot of character.
Yeah,
you have a lot of character. You're a big character.
Sure. All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the suburbs. I don't like all the homes looking exactly the same. If there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I like when people put their personal spin on their vehicle. That's kind of fun too.
Yeah.
As an expression of their personality. I guess mine's green. I don't know, but I do love the color green.
Yeah,
anyway.
it is great. Yeah. So, like, what's the passion behind the magazine? And the reason behind that. Like, what are you really hoping to accomplish through it, and provide through it?
Well, the magazine is very similar to, I guess, in terms of my values, like what I enjoy about even being on the road. It's just a really big, beautiful world, and the idea of not trying to see as much of it as I can before, I can't anymore. Just feels strange to me. I think there's something, it's one of the better human qualities to be curious, I mean, the flip side of curiosity is being humble, admitting you don't know everything, and I think there's something cool about exploring and learning and wondering what the hell's in Redmond, Oregon. Why not? Why not birds? And you end up finding crazy hot springs and beautiful canyons and suns, and then you meet somebody else who's out there, and they've got that big shit-eating grin as they watch the sunset over the Hawaii Canyonlands, and we've had that shared experience. And so the magazine's so the Journal of Lost Time, because it's about experiences where you really lose track of time. You forget what day it is because it's so beautiful, and we've just been kind of sucked into that place and that experience. And in a very real way, it's about trying to encourage other people to go explore and to be curious. And at some deep level is a way that I feel less alone, because there's other people who are like, hey, I read this article you did on the musk oxen in Alaska, and I lived in Fairbanks and I had never gone and done that. And so I did, and that was an amazing experience. And you just feel really good about that, you know, like I've got some kind of shared thing. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it. And like business standpoint, yeah, I want the readership to increase. We're launching a print edition. We've got the event series we're doing now, which has been nice, and it's kind of fun to connect with folks who read your work, but also are kind of part of the traveling community, and that's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a joy. It doesn't feel like work. I got a lot to do. It's just a joy.
And is your readership mostly, you know, people doing the same kind of life, you know, exploration and travel, or is it also people who, you know, from another ilks as well, or just people that want to, or inspiring them?
I think it's a combination of both. You know, we need to do an updated dive, but on like who our demographics are. But there's a lot of people who want to travel, who do travel. So we get a lot of interesting submissions, and we get a lot of feedback of, hey, I read that piece and I went and did that. So I mean, I need to do a detailed dive into who our demographics are, because it's grown a lot in the last couple of years. There's a lot of new folks that I knew the original people because it was, you know, you're asking family and friends, hey, check out this new thing, and yeah, I'd be curious to know. But we do get a lot of really good feedback from folks about the stuff, like going out and actually doing things that we write about and encourage them to do. We definitely try to encourage like sustainable use, and not just leave no trace, leave it better than you found it. You know, we actually have a real appreciation for that place, and so we get good feedback from the tourism boards and local communities about visitors that have said they came because we did something about that place. So yeah, anyway.
That is great. Yeah, right. We all should try to strive for leaving a place better than we found it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Make sure it's at least as good as when we left it, as we arrived at it. Right. For the next visitor. Right. Because we're all visitors in a place for some short period of time.
Yeah. If you see a piece of garbage, just pick it up.
Yeah.
Just pick it up. It doesn't belong there.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's your trash or someone else's. Just pick it up. Yeah.
Just pick it up.
Make it clean. Make it the way you'd like to see it.
Yeah. Because the next time someone rolls up, they don't have to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and also sets a good example, right, for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
People follow good precedent.
Yeah.
Well, and so, is it mostly you and your dog that are traveling together when you do travel?
Right now, I mean, sometimes I have friends who join me for a bit, you know. Every now and then there's some people who join more frequently than others, but right now it's just solo, but just a bunch of other folks here that we kind of caravan. We've got an event next weekend that we'll all be at together, and but it's mostly me and the dog. These days.
We've had a good day, right? Chilling out right now.
She's living her best life.
Well, shouldn't we all be living our best life, right? Isn't that part of kind of the Journal of Lost Time?
Yeah.
Really, your ethic, your ethos, right, of living large and doing what you're doing, right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
like
live that best
life. If anything,
life.
I have to practice not moving as much, like.
Because you always want to be on the road and
there's almost like, I got to bounce to the next cool thing. Like, no, actually, this is pretty lovely. I don't need to leave today.
It's a hard thing about just kind of finding a cool place and just staying there, right? Not feeling like they need to move on.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's always another place to go to.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. And it's hard making peace with the fact that I know I'm not going to see everything.
Yeah. At least not on this trip or in this year, right?
Yeah, like I might not make it to Antarctica in my life. You know? That's okay.
Yeah. Where do you want to make it to in this life?
Oh, man. I don't know.
That you haven't yet.
There's some ones that definitely do. Like I really want to do Greenland and Baffin Island. That's a bucket list one right there. I want to get out to the Faroe Islands. I really want to do that. Man, there's a lot. I mean, just throw a dart on the map, and I want to go there. Sure.
Right.
I haven't done Japan yet. I just want to do Japan. I want to drive the whole ring road of Australia. That's definitely bucket list. Yeah. My plan was to start go to Alaska this summer, start the Pan American. But that just got pushed to next year, just because with the events and stuff. So I'll try it next year. I made it as far as the Yukon last summer, but it's
great.
It's beautiful. British Columbia's amazing. Like
it is.
Yeah, like Yeah.
We talk about Baja a lot, and I know you love Baja and travel there quite a bit, right?
Absolutely.
I love Baja too. It's a fabulous place. I think as kind of van lifers and people like to travel in their vehicles, a lot of us go to Baja, but there's so many great things also in Canada.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It is some gorgeous open country.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Like you get north of Vancouver, and even get out on Vancouver Island, or the north part of the island.
Yeah.
Some crazy beaches out there, like down these forest roads, and that just all to yourself. You don't see another soul.
Yeah.
Just bears and wolves and
eagles.
Yeah. So many eagles.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's beautiful up there. Yeah.
It is.
Hope to make Alaska next summer.
Right.
Then start the Pan American. Then ship it to New Zealand.
Is that the plan? Do the whole Pan American and ship to New Zealand? Okay.
Ship it to New Zealand.
So how long do you think it's going to take you to do the Pan American?
I don't know. I'll do it in stages. I'll take the van down. I'll come back when I need to. Okay. I'd love. I bought land in Chile and Patagonia, which is awesome, and even part of getting my vehicle down to South America, so I have this down there. Because wow, what a continent! Like what a place! It's super interesting. Yeah. It's a lot of different countries. North America is Mexico, U.S., Canada. Yeah, it's fascinating down there. It's super cool. It's beautiful. Holy shit, is it beautiful? It's awesome. I highly recommend Chile and Patagonia.
Yeah.
It's lush and green and
big mountains.
And nobody's there.
Yeah, nobody's there. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's a little untouched.
It's also a bit challenging to get down there. Right?
Yeah.
From here,
like I have to ship my vehicle from Panama down to Colombia.
Sure.
Because of the gap, but I hope to start it next year.
We'll see.
She feels ready for it. I've done Baja 7 times in her, and
wow,
I kind of know what to expect, and I got the right spare parts, and
I'm
not too worried.
What would you say for other Vanagon owners? Like what would you say are like kind of the key things that make a Vanagon great? Like what are the things you have to be prepared for?
Well, it's incredibly agile for a van. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Like they're pretty awesome. Like I'm stunned that none of the major car manufacturers have attempted to make a vehicle in this size with the utility that it has.
I completely agree.
It's wild to me. Like you're watching the entire van build out economy just grow out of nowhere because nobody made a vehicle that did it. Like, make another Westie camper. What are you talking about? Like, and they could have crushed it. But Vanagon owners, I mean, it's anyone's got a Vanagon kind of knows you keep the spare fuel pump. I've got a whole CV axles thing.
Right.
So you just carry certain things that because parts can be weird. It could be a little bit weird internationally too. But But the nice thing, I've got a 1.8 turbo engine of mine out of a Passat, so it's a very common engine around the world. So it's not that crazy. And I'm somewhat familiar with some of the quirks between having like a total different kind of engine in a 40-year-old vehicle. But the nice thing is, a 40-year-old vehicle, so you're down there, it's like some mechanic is just used to making it work.
Right. They've seen a lot of them before, right?
They've seen a lot of weird stuff.
And there's nothing really complex about it. Compared to a brand new vehicle.
The electrical things are always a little bit weird, but that is what it is.
Yeah. And so you find this to be a great space for you and your dog.
It works good. Like I definitely want to get rid of the standard cabinetry. I've left the interiors for last. I'm going to pull that out and do something that custom looks a little better for me. I like to be able to remove certain things and kind of maximize the space and tuck some more batteries in there because I use so much power with
the lasers and the sound system and other lights.
But also being able to work.
Right. And so let's talk a little about that. I know you have a Starlink, right? And so you do work from the road. And, and that Starlink's really been a game changer, as we talked about.
I mean, I'm very fascinated by it. It's wonderful. And if you need to work remotely, you'll just get it. It'll become the standard thing. I'm just a little in awe of like the internet connectivity was almost like the last piece of being full-time in van life that like really allowed you to go spend serious time in the middle of nowhere. And now that's kind of not a factor. It's, well, did I bring enough water or something like that? It's no longer.
So no longer is like a need to have to go back into town or someplace in a cell range in order to reconnect.
You've got new limits on it. And it's fuel, it's gas, it's food or something like that. Water, not, or your power. But, if you got solar and you set it up, you can always keep topping off the batteries. So it's a little interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I just got it a week ago, so it'll be interesting to see how the next. And do I take it to Burning Man? Hell no, absolutely not. I'm not going to take
just because you don't want to have to like get on and connect. You want to be able to be in the moment, present during those kinds of events.
Put my phone away. It's not a thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's a little different than all the van life events, right? Burning Man is, right, in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, we take a very don't do the influencer thing in our camp sort of thing.
Yeah, at Burning Man. Yeah, right.
That's not what we're here for.
Yeah, there's not the hashtag Burning Man isn't quite really so well developed as van life and you know, other expedition type trucks and stuff like that, which has become, and that's okay. Just as you know, different communities, different things, right? That drive it. Drive those communities. But it's really neat that you can also like cross over between those two, right? Between like the Burning Man community and the van life community, the expedition vehicle community, right? And other like RVs and stuff too, because really like the Journal of Lost Time is about just getting out there and doing stuff, no matter really what the vehicle is or method.
Yeah, I have a lot of affection for the overlanding community because in a lot of ways that's why I got a van. Like I didn't get a van to do van life. I got it because I wanted to go see stuff, and it was just easier to just go to sleep in your van than it is. Like it was kind of a pragmatic thing, and I don't like flying that much. And then so like the overlanders who really travel and explore, like I just look up to them. Like they've got amazing rigs. Some of those old school Land Rovers are just they're incredible. Like some of those Troopies over there were they've actually been around the world. I'd like to get there. Eventually I'll get there. Then a decision after Australia to Southeast Asia. Yeah, you got to go across.
Probably. Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, but I mean, how do you get across Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iran? But they did it over there. They actually drove it.
That's right.
They got all the visas, all the permits, everything. Like that's incredible.
And all the different people I've talked with who've done a lot of global travel via their vehicle, almost everyone says the Stands are some of the most amazing countries they visit. Iran and the Stands, right? And so like, and then Patagonia often be a number two, and or number one, right? But so I think it's not a problem, and it's everything. Everyone says the generosity and the kindness and the beauty of the people is fantastic.
Yeah, I think they'll like a green van.
Yeah, I think they will, and a lot of times too. You kind of said something about this last night or this morning, and I think you said a little bit earlier today in our interview is that you find that people are really beautiful everywhere, right? The world's a big, beautiful place. I think is where your words, right? Because you found that as you travel, people are really kind and beautiful, right? It isn't just the panoramas, the landscapes. It's really the connections of the people that we have, and right in these different places and so forth, right?
Yeah, I mean, humans are all we got. And being kind to each other is the best of it. It's kind of,
Isn't that profound?
Yeah, there's something to it. It's pretty amazing how helpful people are. I've broken down some really remote spots and had locals weld things back together on my van to get me moving. Yeah, I think we just try to stay humble, stay curious.
Yeah.
And, a little bit brave doesn't hurt.
A little bit brave, right? It takes a little bit of bravery in order to get out there and do something and be remote, right?
All the best stuff's on the other side of fear. I'm pretty convinced at this point. All the best stuff.
Yeah, those are...
Maybe that's my white guyness, white male privilege feeling that, but it certainly feels like, at least in my life, all the best things on the other side.
Right.
Anyway.
And so, the more you travel, the more you get out there, right? And the less you fear of others and places, like, generally the better the experiences are.
You do Baja once, and then you kind of get it, and it just keeps opening itself up more and more. Get over that initial concern going south of the border. Yeah, it's a wonderful place. Mexico's awesome. What a country. It's so beautiful. It's enormous. It's huge. And we always forget it. It's enormous.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
And then back to Canada, right? The second largest landmass country in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's nuts. Oh my gosh. This little town called Bella Coola. It's hard to explain. I don't know how to describe that valley. It's like this perfect glacial carved valley, and people don't go to it.
Yeah.
I take this weird, unique ferry, get in, and Verona's running around with foxes. It was a trip. And they're right outside the van. I got all this video of her with this fox.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat.
Trip. Yeah, it was awesome. More eagles and grizzlies. And,
more eagles than people by a long shot.
Yeah. It's so wild up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I got into the Nass Valley in the north, that was the first time I'd gone into just a different class of wilderness than we have in the lower 48. It was just, this is wild. I'm just walking some overgrown trail, and I see what looks like a black dog, and Rona just starts freaking out. I'm like, what's that dog doing? It's just
a wolf.
Yeah, and he was like, whoa. 30 yards from you. It's like, oh, that's intense. It's wild up there. It's real wild, where you feel very much not the norm as a human being in that space. It's pretty cool. It's awesome.
So give me a little bit of your background. Like, what kind of drove you into this from your, 10, 20, 30 years ago history, right?
When I turned 30, right around turning 30, 31, I kind of hit reset in life, moved to San Francisco from the South, and was working in tech there. And I just started exploring a little bit more. Like, getting to explore a big city for the first time was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was just really rad. Because every other corner is a new little universe that you can kind of get sucked into. And so I started to do a lot of backpacking and climbing mountains. This was, pre-pandemic 30. And that just sort of kind of kicked it all off, where it's like, why you can just climb you can walk to the top of any mountain. Like, just the idea of that kind of blew my mind. And I just kind of kicked it off, and then it was just, it was kind of game on, and I slowly transitioned out of working in tech, started taking photos. People started giving me money for my photos, which kind of was confusing to me at first. I didn't really expect that. I was just...
What were you taking photos of?
Oh, just standing on top of a mountain,
mm-hmm.
Backpacking trips, beautiful places in the Sierras, just goofing off and learning how to do it. And then I was like, I wonder if I can get paid to travel. And then one thing led to another. I kind of figured out how to get paid to do that, and kind of started a business doing photo and video production. It's called Granite Light, on behalf of like outdoor adventure brands and a lot of DMOs, destination marketing organizations. Visit California, travel Montana, travel Oregon, things like that. And so the company grew. We launched the magazine. We started the events. Now I've got a couple of teams. Got one getting out. You're just wrapping up a 14-day shoot for Montana tourism. But so I'm like texting them, making sure they're all right. It's nice to have people you can trust. But yeah, we're a fully remote team. A lot of van lifers. A bunch were here. So these are like, we got some work done yesterday. It was good. But yeah. Just about everyone in the company is they're in it because they love to travel. They're in it because they love to explore.
Mm-hmm. And they get to write about it and share those stories, right? And those photos of those places and those experiences, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds like that's a lot of what you love doing too.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty stoked too, because on this Montana trip, marketing director works for me. Her boyfriend, now fiance, was like, all right, I'm going to propose to her on this trip. So we all knew about it. And
that's exciting.
And we planned out the whole thing. So we it's a place called the China Wall up in Montana. It's in the Bob Marshall, which is stupidly beautiful. So this collective setup for just the most absurdly beautiful. I've got the photo. It's bonkers great, and she didn't expect to see it coming. It was good.
That's awesome.
I'm very happy for them. Yeah, they're great. They're awesome.
So it sounds like you've had no problem creating community while on the road and while traveling.
Yeah. I mean, I know it can be harder for others. I mean, it's a little bit. I'm an extrovert, and I just try to be fearless about talking to folks.
Mm-hmm.
But now I throw events, and that it's been really, really, really lovely to get to throw events and to see other people forming friendships and relationships. That's really cool. And so I wouldn't say I haven't had any trouble, because there's a lot of work putting on those events. But if you're friendly, it works. Just be bold, walk up, say hi. Helps to have a cute dog.
Yeah.
And
don't be too afraid.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody's like, you creepy dude in a green van. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like you've met a lot of really cool people doing that, and created a great community doing that.
The actual travelers and explorers are just always interesting folks. They've seen a lot. They've got
a lot of stories to share.
A lot of stories to share. And it's hard. It's lonely out there sometimes, and depending on where you're at, it can be tricky to find a spot to park.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the only limiting factor anymore, now that we have Starlink, is finding a shower every few days.
Yeah.
Greatest gift you can give a van lifer is a shower. It really is. 100%. Yeah. It's awesome.
So that water is going to become, like you said earlier, probably the next limiting factor. If it already isn't, or it is for most people, right? But
sure.
Now without really internet connectivity, assuming you're still working or have some other need to connect, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and even talk with people here today that don't really have a need to connect. They're not working at the moment, right? So they don't have a professional need to connect, but they still want to connect with their families.
Yeah.
Right, and share their stories, make sure families know where they're at, that they're not worried about or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're always going to have that need to connect with our people that we aren't obviously around at that time. Yeah.
Well, there's that app, Seeker.
Yeah.
You mess with that? Like, I really like the...
That's SEKR, yeah.
SEKR, yeah. They've got some really cool chat
community-oriented
stuff that I think has been really lovely to see.
It is.
It's a cool app, and I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
I've met some folks that way where it was like...
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I did an interview with someone at Seeker like about a year ago.
Okay.
And it was last fall, and it was and she was mentioning about how they were coming out with that piece of it, and I really like it too. It's a nice
they've got
addition.
A couple new versions of the newest ones that came out in the last just month or two are just orders of magnitude easier to use and faster. They've got some really cool maps now, all these cool map layers, which I really appreciate. So you can see public land and things like that. So,
what other apps do you like or use?
For traveling, I mean, Seeker's been really rad. I'm a firm believer in Google Maps with the topographic layer turned on, and because you can look and have a sense that forest road that leads up to that ridge line might have an epic view looking back out over that valley, and so it's a way to kind of approximate.
Yeah.
Cool. And, if you look at the photo thing, you can sometimes see what's. So I've been able to find some really cool places that way. Other things I'm a firm is like Benchmark Maps have, in most cases, the best, most detailed maps for that area, and they've got some of those that are available online that are pretty cool. That's been rad. Obviously, All Trails is awesome for like hiking trails and things like that. Onyx, the back roasting is pretty badass too. They've got some good stuff on there that I use that one. But I'm pretty. Just give me Google Topo Maps, switch into satellite view if I need to geek out, and I'll go find it. I'm pretty comfortable just drive to the end of the dirt road, see what's there, look over some rocks. I like to leave a little room for discovery and topography is everything. If you got a cool valley and you see that there's some forest road that goes up one side of it, odds are you're going to have a great view of that valley. You might have a good campsite on it. Yeah. Fun a lot. So
you're certainly not I'll call it a to B destination driven traveler, right? You definitely want to have part of the experience, the journey, right? And, be serendipitous along the journey.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, rule one of good road trips is stay off interstates just as much as you can. But I mean, getting to here, I was in Lander, Wyoming, because we had an event there, and I just took a circuitous route and ended up in Stanley for the first time.
Oh, beautiful!
Holy shit,
Stanley, Idaho,
mind blowing!
Right,
like what? I mean, everyone was like, "You should check out this place called Stanley." I'm like, all right, so I took through Chalice over this. Didn't even know there was something called the Custer Motorway or something, which is this crazy dirt road through the Sawtooth, and then it just suddenly I'm in Stanley, and I'm like,
it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I got this unbelievable campsite to myself. I mean, I couldn't believe there wasn't 100,000 people there, but it's magic. I don't think we should tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. Yeah, we'll cut that out.
It's super good. It's super
What's neat is there are everybody we talk with, they always have a different place that they love to talk about, right? And so but they're all wonderful, and that's I think one thing is pretty neat about the Western U.S. as a whole. We're really blessed in the Western U.S. with so much open lands and so much beautiful land, right? That we
Western
can
North
explore.
America is where it's at. Continent, everything. Yeah, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with stuff east of Denver. The Upper Peninsula's gorgeous, but we're spoiled out here. People even talk about, California's so crowded. I'm like, drive an hour any direction.
Yeah. You think about it. It takes 24 hours to basically drive from the state of California from north to south, right?
People it can be a slog getting out of LA. But you ever gone up in Topanga Canyon and ripped around in the Malibu Hill?
Around Nanzabrego Desert, right? During a flower bloom, or exploring those canyons out there.
It's incredible.
Or just south of San Diego and the mountains down there on the border.
Literally just drive a couple hours any direction. And you're in public land. You can camp wherever the hell you want. It's magic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's still a lot of people in California, but
there are.
But you can get away from it. I've never had a problem.
Yeah, and that's one thing I think it's really amazing about not only California in particular, but also the wild Western U.S. Is that it's so diverse. We have amazing mountains, lakes, rivers, valleys. When you think about Nevada, it's the most mountainous state in the U.S., right? And a lot of people think it's just a flat, barren land.
Amazing.
You drive across it from east to west, and all you're doing is going up and down, up and down, up and down over mountains to valleys, and it's beautiful. Every different.
I love Nevada. It's crazy. You get up into those mountains, and suddenly you're in there's all these oases, and beautiful lakes, and it's awesome. Hot springs everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, like Nevada's, yeah. I'm like, Mom, you never got off I-80. Of course you don't like Nevada.
That's right.
Yeah. Of course, the Black Rock Desert's magic.
Yeah, it is.
Geysers and hot springs.
Yeah. Have you been out to Fly Geyser?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a little, and you keep this on. I'm a little bummed with the org buying it, just because they've gotten so cliquish. And
it's controlled. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just it's a little thing for them, and to me it fits right with that unfortunate American fetish around land, and where we want to get it, we want to throw a barbed wire fence around it and yell loudly, "Mine!"
Ownership and control of it.
Yeah. I just don't feel good about that. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm weirdly liberal or whatever with that, but I like in Scandinavia, the rite of passage. It's like you can traverse on any land as long as you stay X number of meters away from a building. You don't mess with its economic whatever, and so
generally the same in the UK and a lot of other European countries as well.
And I used to go up to Fly Geyser as a kid, and now I've got somebody saying you can't go there. Insurance. I'm like, dude, I know you're throwing parties out here. So I just go. What are they going to do? Write me a ticket for trespassing.
Yeah.
I pick up garbage when I'm there. Like, I've been cleaning that thing up before you were ever there. It's not mine. I don't own it. But yeah, I think we need to change our attitude about lands, where it's like you've bought the right to be the steward of that land until you die or whatever. You gotta take care of it. I don't know. I've been kind of thinking about that with the land I bought in Chile and Patagonia and how I want to be responsible with it, but not like.
Sounds like a little bit like what Yvon Chouinard has done down there.
Oh, his fingerprints are everywhere down there. It's a trip. It's a trip. His parks are everywhere. And there you see why. What he did was unreal. Yeah. Like, what an amazing,
Yeah.
What a badass human being.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a shame our other rich folk don't make big bold moves like that.
I completely agree. Yeah.
It's just, I'm like, do you realize what he did? Like, how nuts it is what he did. Like, that's why I want to yell. Like,
and with not that much money compared to what some of the more wealthy individuals are today, right?
It is staggeringly beautiful places, and he just did the work to slowly, what a beautiful thing. And his parks are incredible. Oh my gosh. And they're just, you'll be out on some crazy remote road in the middle of nowhere, and such and such national park. It was Doug Tompkins. He did that one, awesome.
The CEO of North Face, or past CEO of North Face,
super. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Right.
They were great human beings.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, what do you wish for like van life going forward? Like, what would you, hope as far as like any progression or change or not to change?
The number one thing I think the community needs is we need to create a pack or a lobbying group that is, call it the ACLU of van life. Houseless isn't homeless, and I think it should be illegal for communities. Like, what's the island that you cross over coming from east into Seattle? Rich Enclave made it illegal to park overnight.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it right now either.
I really think we need to start a lobbying organization that gives some good solutions. Like, I think it should be the case that when you roll into a certain town that you pull a 2-week parking permit or something like that. It should be illegal to make it illegal for somebody to park overnight and stay in the vehicle. Like, our housing market is completely upside down and warped, and it benefits just big, massive corporate landowners. The whole tax structure benefits people owning 2, 3, 4, 5 homes that they don't live in, which is just wasteful and disgusting. And that is messed up. So I think it should just be, we need to create a group that does the lobby and activism side of what is a growing community. And it's funded by the businesses that make money off of it. Many of the companies that are here. It's like, hey, these are your customers. Let's
support them.
Let's support them. So I think that's what we need. And if I didn't have 8 other projects, I'd do it myself. And I am kind of looking for the person with the right personality to be the kind of executive director-ish type person. But it should be the sort of thing when you hear a town's passed some crazy law like that, the attorneys show up, and we can either fight it out in the courts, or we can put on a responsible use for van lifers sort of program for your town. And in a lot of ways, I kind of look at these events as a way to kind of begin forming those relationships with some of the local municipalities. The event series that we do are all in my favorite places in van life. towns that are very friendly to van lifers. So maybe some ways we can form some relationships and find that first pilot program with a town where it's like they're welcoming to van lifers. They understand, like, show up, we eat in the restaurants, we buy supplies there. You know, yeah, so that's what I think our community needs right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something like that. You know, like something, and I don't know who that person is yet, but if somebody, I mean, something I've been talking about for the last year, and if the right person, if somebody else does it, great, I will cheerlead them. Just got to figure that out, but I think we need something like that.
Yeah, and how it gets funded, and what really its goals are, its mission, right? What it wants to accomplish, you know, what resources it needs in order to do that. Yeah.
And I would do it. I'm just too busy to take it on.
Yeah.
Which bums me out because I feel it on an emotional level.
Right.
If I was, you know, had sold my company and didn't need to work anymore, I'd probably go for it. But
certainly, and there are some communities that are pretty, I'll call it progressive or kind, right, to those that are living out of a home that moves, right? And so maybe those can be like, you know, somewhat of a showcase or an example, right? You know, to say, okay, how are they doing it right? What's working well?
Like Lander, Wyoming, the fact that their city park is free camping for I forget how long it is. Amazing. Like, they should be lauded, celebrated, and embraced for doing that. And people love that park. And they clean it, they take care of it. And, like, I made a donation to the city parks thing, you know, a couple years ago because I was like, you guys are awesome. So I think there's some towns that are doing that, but somebody needs to be talking loudly about that. Right now, I mean, I think a lot of the media coverage is a little bit more like the novelty of van life and that sort of thing. Yeah, what are we going to do? Because I definitely do think that the housing market has created a lot of pressure. Has caused this community to grow. Definitely blown my mind because there didn't feel like there was that many of us 5-6 years ago, and now it feels like there's a Sprinter or ProMaster on every street. So.
Yeah, and probably a big part of that is the housing crisis. Another part of it is this more drive to get out and live life, right? Be out in these beautiful places and try to enjoy life more. And undoubtedly our pandemic has, I think, you know, woken people up a little bit that life is short, right? And we probably do need to make sure we're enjoying it more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have no interest in the 9-to-5 office job anymore. I mean,
you've done it. Yeah, you're not.
It's not that I don't like working. I love 6 to 7 hours a week. It's great. It's fun. But you know, it's because I love what I do. But the idea of that 9-to-5 suburban thing scares me.
Yeah.
I did it. I can't do it again.
Yeah.
Just gives me anxiety thinking about it.
I can see that, right? The hour commute,
it's like 2 hours a day, and your car not going anywhere.
Right.
Why?
While you're burning money out your tailpipe.
Literally just dumping money. Listening to terrible talk radio, maybe podcasting.
Right. But not seeing anything beautiful, not having any human experience. I remember when I used to commute, when I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I used to commute my 4.5 miles, it took me 45 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I used to bring a harmonica along so I could play my harmonica while I was driving, and I could steer with my knees, and so I could, you know, but you're only going 5 miles an hour anyway, so I could steer with my knees and, of course, work the brake pedal and the fuel pedal, and I could play harmonica. And, you know, only once do I remember, like, somebody looking over and, like, smiling and waving back, and I thought that was great, right? That because I was not really doing it to bring joy to others, to bring joy to myself, right? And I try to make some use of that time, that wasted time. But it was kind of sad that most people are just focused straight ahead, looking at the bumper in front of them, and not really anybody's enjoying that time.
Where was your commute from?
Palo Alto to Mountain View.
Oh, man, that's fierce. 4.5 miles, 45 minutes,
Each way, right? Yeah, so it kind of wakes you up. That's an hour and a half every single day that I could be out doing something much more enjoyable.
And you get home, you're tired. You have dinner.
That's right.
Maybe you watch a show all over again.
Try to do laundry, make dinner, get groceries, do all those things. And by the time you know it, you really haven't done anything fun that day.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Right. Yeah.
Other folks are fine with it, but.
So roughly how many days a year do you think you're on the road?
Ooh,
I say on the road, you know, traveling away from.
Yeah, I still have a place in San Francisco, but I was there one day last year.
You were there one day last year.
Yeah, I got a buddy staying there, so I'm always traveling.
Yeah. I
mean, I've started to get a week or two every now and then visiting the parents, just because they're getting older. And, you know, it's good to spend some time and, you know, visit the cousins or to visit nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty much always traveling.
Yeah.
You know, like I just did 6 weeks in Buenos Aires.
So it's not. It's not holding you back in any way.
Nothing.
Right. If anything, it's enabling, right? This called life improvement, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, always traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you figure out how to live frugally when you need to in the ways that you do. And yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, when I was in one place, you just almost like buy stuff to buy stuff. So what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Order things off Amazon over and over and over again.
Kind of fill your time and space.
It's just like something
with
to do.
stuff.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I think we all have that. And obviously life on the road, you have very few things, but there's things that really have meaning and value too.
I certainly hope so. It's a little crazy in here right now. I need to clean up, but yeah. Yeah, you have to get careful about stuff. You pick your things.
So what would you say, like, as a parting thought, that, like, you know, some words of wisdom, other words of wisdom, because you've been very profound, right, in some of the things you said today, indeed. Like, what words of wisdom would you provide to, like, somebody who is either, you want to inspire them to, like, get out and, like, live life more, the joie de vivre, you know, of, like, travel, or however they do that, or you know, inspire them or help break down their fear of that?
The fear gets easier with practice, like anything. Like, you get less afraid. If there was somebody sitting there, like, I'm thinking about doing that, I mean, it really is. It doesn't matter if you're in your sedan. You don't need a $250,000 Sprinter. Like, I know lots of folks who started out and they kind of worked their way up. I would say, like, to trust in your own ability to survive. Like I think, yeah, I'm amazed at what humans do when their backs are up against the wall. Like, they'll figure out a way to make it. So, like, if you get a little, I don't know, how do you tell somebody to be brave? You know, how do you encourage them to just go for it? I don't know. I don't know what to tell them. Yeah, it's a tricky thing giving people advice. But I would just say that, like, yeah, if that's what you really want to do, I've got your back. Let me know if you need help with anything.
Yeah.
If you've got questions. And I mean, you can't tell them not to worry, but I know you can do it. Like, it's going to be great. It might be hard sometimes, definitely a little bit lonely. There were definitely stretches early on when I was really lonely. And you have weird problems and, you know, crap, where am I going to crap today? And you'll figure all that stuff out. The biggest thing is to start and get going and start moving, to get used to solving those problems on a day-to-day basis, and then you just don't really think about it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, once you're used to that, it becomes very familiar pretty quickly.
Once you do it, whatever those things you're afraid of,
you'll get a sense,
that you thought would be problems.
Yeah, I'm 3 days away from laundry. I'll start thinking about that. Where will I be in 3 days? And you start piecing it together. It'll work out. Everything will be all right. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're going to have a great time. You're going to meet awesome people. Be beautiful. Don't think about it too much. Consciousness is an illusion anyway. Just don't worry about it. You know, just you're going to be fine. Think less, do more.
Yeah.
Try not to drink and drive. And you are in a van, so you got to be a little smart about that.
Yeah.
That's definitely, you're going to have a great time.
Oh, it's awesome. It's been so great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It was great.
Really
I'm glad to hang out with you guys.
Thank you.
I
really
cool.
enjoyed it too.
Yeah, it was a great expo. It was very cool.
It has been.
Yeah, good vibes. DOI section is where it's at.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Bunch of crazy folks. I love it.
It's been highly enjoyable.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to this wonderful discussion with Josiah Roe. Do check out the Journal of Lost Time, and certainly also his Instagram channel for his travels. And certainly come back here very soon for a lot more updates on my camper build out.